When I started property, I was broke, no savings. 18 months later, I built it up to 15K per month in profit. Now my different property business generate just shy of 100K per month. Now, just so you know I'm not faking it, let me show you what I mean. So this right here is our property management system. If we check how much we generated in the past 3 months, you'll see it's just a little over £219,000. And honestly, the biggest blessing for me was actually starting off in this business completely broke, and I'm gonna explain to you why in a sec. Now in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how I went from 0 to hitting that big 10K per month goal and showing you the step-by-step process that literally anyone can follow. Now it's worth mentioning that way before I started my property business, I was living on the wrong side of the law. I was getting up to certain activities, hanging around certain people, and because of that, when I was 19 years old, I was sentenced to 4 years in prison. And believe me, everyone around me at that point, including my own family members, thought I was completely finished. I mean, I got kicked out of school, failed my GCSEs twice, and now I just got sentenced to 4 years in prison at age 19. And to be fair, I believed them. I thought I was finished. I thought that my life went down the drain and I can make nothing of my life now because of what had happened. But cool, no worries. After I did my sentence, I came out. I didn't want to go back to doing what I was doing before, so I did what everyone told me to do and just got a job. And if I were to say that I despise that with a passion, that would be the understatement of the year. At that time, super depressed, broke as a joke, I'm skinny as fuck, and I'm gonna be so honest with you, a part of me was thinking, you know what, I might need to go back to doing what I was doing before because this is just not life. But then I remembered one day I was on Instagram and I remember I was scrolling through, checking out a few people's story, and then there was this one guy that I checked out. He was involved in the real estate space, in property, and in his stories, he mentioned that he had a property deal that he was selling for £11,000. So I'm like, the fuck? What do you mean? He's selling a property deal for £11,000? Like, what does that even mean? So I reached out to him. I said, hey, you know, what's going on? Like, you know, what is this property deal that you're selling for £11,000? So that's when we both scheduled in a call together, and then on the call, he actually broke it down to me. He said, look, I don't actually own this property. What I'm doing, I'm renting this property from the landlord, and then I'm reletting it out as an Airbnb or service accommodation. And on average, I was making him about £900 per month in profit. He'd had that property for a little while. He told me he had 65 of those properties, and the reason why he was looking to let go of that property was because he was doing property developments now, and you know, he wanted to focus on the bigger stuff, so he was offloading some of those properties. But when I first heard that, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just couldn't believe it. I thought this guy was just chatting shit. I'm thinking, first of all, this sounds illegal because you're just subletting a property, and I'm just thinking there has to be more to it than what this guy's saying. So after that conversation, I was just so much more curious about this. I started researching about, you know, this specific strategy, rent to rent as they call it, a lot more. And then after that, I thought, you know what, this is it. This is something I'm sinking my teeth into. I'm making it happen. It's a simple business model. Let's go. And I remember one day there was this one landlord I contacted online that had a property to rent. Was a 2-bed, and this is the message I actually sent to him right here. I just reached out, said, hey, look, I'm interested in renting your property. Can I please book in a viewing? This is what I'm looking to do with your property. And mind you, before this, I contacted loads of landlords and loads of them shut me down. I contacted loads of estate agents. They shut me down. But then this landlord, after sending him that message, a couple hours later, like, he was down. He was on it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no way this landlord just, he's like open on it with the idea. Long story short, I booked in a viewing that same day. I went to go see the landlord, and I literally took on the property there and then, paid a deposit, signed the contract. This is actually the property right here that you're seeing on the screen as well. And that right there was a 2-bedroom apartment located around 20 minutes or so from Heathrow Airport. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I took this property on, I was bricking it. I was nervous as shit. I was thinking, oh my gosh, you know, what have I done? What if I, you know, I've taken on this property now and, you know, I'm paying the rent, but I can't get anyone to book this property? What if I end up losing so much money? Like, all these thoughts were running through my head, and I can't lie to you, man, it was, I was bricking it. I was bricking it, to say the least. But then I swear to God, yeah, the same day I launched that property on Airbnb on booking.com, I had this one booking come through right here. And then the following day, I had these 2 bookings coming through for that property right there. Now, mind you, the rent on this place was £1,250. Now, with the monthly bills, you're looking at about a couple of extra £100. Now, from those 3 bookings, I'd already made the money back for the rent and also the bills as well. Now, straight after that, any more bookings I'm getting was clean profit. That's when it clicked in my mind. Ding, ding, we are onto something. This works. Let's make it happen. And in my first month of that place, I made just a little over £1,000 per month in clean profit. And then after that, I swear to God, I just focused on taking on more and more places. I took on a place right across the street. That was a 3-bedroom flat. And I took on another place, probably like 45 minutes away or so. That was another 2-bedroom flat. And I swear to God, when I got this business to the point where it was generating 3K per month in profit, that was emotional, man. That was emotional, because in my head, I'm thinking, man, like, I did it, man. I did it. Like, I can't believe I actually did it. Especially given the fact of, the life that I lived, going jail, failing my GCSEs multiple times. Like, I was that person that people looked at as like a failure, as that person not to be like, literally as a pariah, as an embarrassment. And a lot of people saw me that way as well. And I went from that to now building my own business, my own thing, legitimately, and making like a full-time income from it. And honestly, after that moment, it genuinely opened up my mind to let me know that anything was possible as long as I fixed my mind to it very heavily. What I'm gonna do right now is show you step by step exactly how you can literally kickstart this business today and find profitable properties for yourself, even if you're someone that has no experience, not that much money, and you're wanting to get the ball rolling with property itself. Because the thing is, there is so many opportunities out there with this when it comes to the properties that are out there. You just need to know how to identify these opportunities and how to take advantage of them as well, which I'm going to show you right now. So let's say we jump online, we start searching for properties to rent in our chosen location, and we come across this specific property right here going for £3,000 per month. Now, what we want to do is double check how much money we can actually make if we chose to rent that property and then relay it out as an Airbnb. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that right now. So what I've just done now is jumped on AirDNA, which is kind of a tool that you can use to analyze Airbnb deals to see how much money you can make from it. So what I've done, I've typed in the full address of that specific property right there, and it's giving me these details right here. So what we want to pay attention to is this right here and also this right here, the average daily rate, or how much on average you can charge per night. You can see over here it says £322 per night on average that you can charge, and that's on average throughout the year, by the way. Same thing over here, the occupancy 74%. All that means is on average, how often would you have your place booked up, throughout the month. Now this is saying that's 74%, which is very, very good. And that works out to around, 22 to 23 days in a month on average, you can have your place booked out according to AirDNA. Now the average occupancy rate throughout most towns and cities in the UK is around 70%. So we're gonna choose to work with that number just to be a little bit, conservative with it. So we've seen that. Now let's actually do the maths to see realistically how much money we can make from that property. Boom, let's go. So the first thing that we need to do is take £322 and we're gonna times that by 21 days. The reason why we're timesing it by 21 days is because 21 days in a month works out to on average 70%, which basically means 70% occupancy. Now the total amount that equals to is £6,762 on average you're making in a whole month. Now what we need to do is minus all the monthly expenses to see how much we're left after paying everything off. So you've got the rent, which is £3,000. You've also got the fee that Airbnb and Booking.com charge you. Now this is gonna vary, especially if you're getting some people coming to you directly rather than going to Airbnb and Booking.com. But for this fee, we're gonna put £845. And then you've also got your monthly bills as well. This is your gas, your electric, your council tax, your Wi-Fi, amongst other monthly expenses as well. For this, we're putting it at £400 per month. And then you also have your cleaning costs as well, because of course, when guests are checking in and checking out, you have to have cleaners in there cleaning the property as well. Now, this is gonna vary from month to month. So on average, we're gonna put £600 per month. Now, after we've minus all of the expenses, we're left with £1,917 per month in pure profit that we're making from a property that we don't even own. Now, it's worth mentioning too that the data that we'd seen from AirDNA, the nightly rate and also the average occupancy rate, AirDNA isn't 100% accurate all of the times. Sometimes it can be, but a lot of the times it isn't. But for me, I've done further research, analysis, due diligence to actually find out what the actual occupancy rate and nightly rate is as well. And it does align with what AirDNA says with that specific property. Now, don't get me wrong, AirDNA is very good to use if you want to get a quick idea when it comes to, okay, realistically, how much money can I make from this place? But at the same time, we have our own process that we go through to further validate, how much we can actually make. And that's some secret sauce right there I can't just share with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm charging some serious money for students joining our program, so I can't share that secret sauce. Now look, that all sounds good, but what if you end up renting the property from the landlord and you can't actually get the place booked out? What then? You're gonna have to pay the rent out of your own money. Yes, sir. I'm very glad you brought that question up. And here's what I actually want to say to that. Now, a couple of years back, I had this guy reach out to me on social media and he was telling me that he's got this property that he's running as an Airbnb and he's struggling to get it booked. And he actually mentioned to me in the last 3 months, he actually ended up losing money from that property and he was paying the landlord from his own pocket and he desperately needed help. And you know what the maddest thing was? I kid you not. And it made sense why this guy reached out to me in the first place. That property was in the same building as one of my other properties that I was running as an Airbnb as well. So when I saw that, I was like, what? This guy, he knew I had that property because I showcased it before on social media in the past. That's why he reached out to me. And then when I actually jumped on his Airbnb listing and I saw his calendar, I was like, yeah, it's a bit of a sticky one, I can't lie. But I swear to God, within 10 seconds or so of me checking out that property, I noticed 3 major things that was wrong with how he was listing his property. And because of that, that was probably the reason why this guy was struggling to get bookings. And it was to do with his, his pictures, his description, and also the way he was pricing his property as well. It's worth mentioning as well that that same building that he had that property in, my property was booked up throughout that whole time. Like, I'd never struggled with that property whatsoever. For him, he was just managing it the wrong way. And because of that, it was affecting him when it came to getting bookings and actually turning over a profit. So it's not about whether or not this business comes with risk. Every business comes with its risk. That's the nature of business. What you want to be asking yourself is, what do I need to do and what do I need to understand to go about minimizing all of the risks involved with this business model right here. Now, I'd personally never struggled when it came to actually, getting our properties booked up and making sure that we're turning over a profit, or at the very least making enough to cover the rent and also the bills as well. And that's on a bad month. So right now I'm going to show you exactly the things that you can be doing once you actually have the property there to make sure that you're maximizing the chances of you getting bookings and also maximizing profits as well. Boom, just jumped on Airbnb right now and I'm actually showing you a property that we've taken on recently and that we're running as an Airbnb. But I mean, look, the first things first, let's address the pictures that we're seeing right now. Let's be very honest. These pictures right here, especially this signature photo right here, is a 10 out of 10. Like, these pictures are capturing anyone's attention. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is getting those super nice professional photographs taken of your property. What a lot of people do is they'll literally get their phone, they'll take pictures and they'll put it on Airbnb and booking.com. That's not what you want to do. Yes, it costs a pretty penny, but it will allow people to, be more drawn towards your property and actually book your property too. So that's the first thing. But also with the title itself, check it out. What did it say? Central Luxe Penthouse with balcony, terrace and parking. Notice we use the word luxe and penthouse and we included balcony. These keywords, they stand out. They pop out when someone's reading it. It's like, oh wow, this place is luxe, it's a penthouse, it's got a balcony, it's central as well. So when it comes to the title, it's very important to actually go about sexying it up and making it pop out as much as possible. And look, you can use ChatGPT to help you out with this as well. And another little hack that we did to allow us to attract a lot more people is, yes, this is a 2-bedroom apartment, but for one of the bedrooms, we took 2 pictures of it. We took a picture with one large bed and then we took a picture with another, 2 smaller beds. So we just got a large bed that could be split and also put together as well. And that's obviously going to attract, families and people that want to sleep in, we have 2 people that want to sleep in one room. So that's a nice little tip for you as well to go about doing. But also you need to make sure that you're getting the pricing right as well. So many people go wrong with this right here. And if we're even checking out our calendar as well, you can pretty much see that, this month is pretty much booked up and we're not even in the following month as well. But that right there is a topic for a whole nother video. What I will say, there is one tool that you can use called Price Labs, which helps you price your property automatically depending on the area it's in and also the season it's in as well. So this place right here is an excellent money generator. On average, it's producing us anywhere between 700 to 800 pounds per month in pure profit. But another thing that a lot of people believe about Airbnb is that it's not that reliable because you're only getting 1-night bookings, 2-night bookings, and because of that, it's just a little bit all over the place. There's not that stability there. And for that, I'm gonna show you something. So we just jumped back onto our central management system where we manage all of the properties and also all of the bookings that we have as well. Now, these are just some of the properties that we have, and this is the calendar section. Check out this one booking that we received right here. This is a booking that we received where the guests booked for 58 nights and they paid just a little over £20,000. I mean, you're looking at it right there. This is no joke. These are the types of bookings that we get for our specific property. We got another booking right here, as you can see. John D, my man, he booked for 56 nights. This is a different property and he paid just a little over £12,000. And trust me, we get a lot of people booking our properties where they're booking for months at a time. We've had people book for, 4 months, 5 months. We had a guest book for 6 months. The key thing is making sure you're getting your property in the right location that actually has strong demand for people that are looking to book long-term accommodation rather than short-term accommodation. But honestly, after finding out this information right here and getting those bookings, it completely opened up my mind and shifted my perspective completely, because even myself, before I got started off in this business, I used to think the same thing as well. Airbnb, service accommodation, it's not that stable. You're only getting 1-2 night bookings here and there. Well, I was proven wrong, man. I was proven wrong because, it's proven to be very, very reliable with a lot of the long-term bookings that we actually get for our properties. Now look, when I was on my 7th property, I was still pretty much doing everything myself. I didn't really have a team like that. I was driving up and down these properties, dealing with these guests, maintenance issues, and I kid you not, at that time, that was the closest I felt like giving up with this business, because it was taking so much of my time and it was like draining my soul. And a lot of the times I just didn't have the energy, because all of my energy and my time and attention was just going to this business, managing these properties. I'm managing bookings, messages, guest complaints. I'm having to deal with parties that people are throwing in these properties. I'm having to deal with, really shitty cleaners. And I'm having to deal with endless paperwork, to the point where I just thought, bro, like, is this actually it? Like, is this really how things are with this business? Because I can't lie, man, I don't know if this is for me. The problem was I was focusing all my time and attention inside the business and running around, and not actually on the business and growing the business. And the reason for that was very simple. I just didn't know how to. I knew something had to change, because I just couldn't continue on like this. I would have given up otherwise. So that's when I got together with a mentor. This is someone that had hundreds of properties at that time, and he taught me everything I needed to know when it comes to putting the right systems, the processes, and also the automations to allow me to not spend too much time inside the business. And I kid you not, after that, it gave me back like 30 hours a week of my time. And I was like, wow, I can't believe this. And I actually got it to the point where I was taking on more properties, but it wasn't taking up more of my time, if that makes sense, because of the systems that I had in place. Now, when it actually comes to the point where you're generating 10K per month from this business, honestly, you need 10 decent properties generating you £10,000 per month in profit. And if you're actually seeing the amount of properties that are available out there to be rented, like, just look at how many properties are available to be rented in London alone. You know what I mean? There's so many different properties out there. Again, it's just all about being able to identify the right opportunities and being able to approach the landlords correctly to pitch them this idea. And I can't lie to you, I remember when I first hit my first 10K month, I literally remember it like it was yesterday, man. And I remember I showed my mum a screenshot of the money, my first 10K I made that month. No word of a lie, she thought that was my savings. I started busting up and laughing, and I told her, nah, like, this is, this is how much I made this month. Now that allowed me to buy my first property. I'm currently investing in properties internationally in Dubai. I actually live out full-time in Dubai as well, and I'm literally building a global business right now. And honestly, it started off with something as simple as this specific strategy right here, which is a powerhouse if you know how to approach it, if that makes sense. Now look, if this is something that sounds interesting to you, you want to find out more about how to get started, and to be fair, you want to help and support in doing so as well, I've left the link somewhere around this video for you to click to fill out an application, to get a call booked in with us, to see how we can go about best helping. But do me a massive favor though, if you're taking value from this video, please make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, make sure you're hitting that like button, because I've got some more fire coming at you very, very soon. Catch up with you soon.